So prepare for an epic sonic boom of insights, as they say. The chair and moderator for the session is Lieutenant General Vineet Gaur, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, Director General Capability Development Directorate. He is a 1987 batch officer commissioned from IMA Dehradun in the core of EME. The officer has had, ladies and gentlemen, such an exceptionally brilliant academic career and has held various appointments in the command and the staff. I request the chair and moderator, Lieutenant General Vineet Gaur, to join us and take his place on the stage. Once again, a very, very warm welcome to you, sir, as you are all set to spearhead the proceedings for this panel discussion. Thank you very, very much for bringing, of course, and spending, rather, your time and energies with us today at this seminar that is ready to ensure that the soldier is indeed empowered. With that, may I please request now our panelists to join us on the stage and take their seats. Indeed, I must say a blue ribbon panel, an expert panel, the polymaths who will take the stage. May I take the pleasure of first inviting the founder and CEO of Godi India, Mr. Mahesh Godi. The one, ladies and gentlemen, who has 2 decades of experience at the Silicon Valley and Wall Street, USA. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Godi. Thank you so much for joining us. May I now request Mr. Rajiv Mehrotra, the founder and chairman of Shyam VNL, to take the stage up next. A veteran of the telecom industry, as they say, Mr. Rajiv Mehrotra. And as he'll be shortly joining us on the stage, may I take the pleasure of now inviting Mr. Vaibhav Gupta, Director of Business Development from MKU, the one who has been leading MKU's foray in the defense sector in India, ladies and gentlemen, and has been leading the company's association with DRDO. MKU has won the award, I'm so proud to mention, for the outstanding export performance from the Honorable Raksha Mantri ji just very recently. And with that, I'm going to be inviting on stage Nishant Khatri, MOD Sales from FC Technology. FC Technology is amongst India's leading startups in direct methanol cum hydrogen fuel cells and sustainable energy solutions. A warm welcome to you, Nishant, as you take up the stage. And with that, I'm going to request the session chair to please take the proceedings ahead, as one of our panelists will join us in a while. But let's get started.
Very good morning once again. DG Claus, General Dushyant, esteemed panel on with me sharing today this stage. Veteran officers sitting here, officers in uniform, friends from the industry partners, as the new term is these days for them, and of course the members of the media. It's my proud privilege to be chairing this very important session, which is on contemporary technologies and industry capabilities. This session, I presume and I hope that it will give you an expose of what the Indian defense private industry is capable of. You have seen some of the products that they displayed while you're having your tea. And I can only say that this is just a glimpse. There are many such innovators, there are many such private industries, particularly in the MSME and the startup domain, who have come up in last few years. And we see a lot of good things coming up through them as far as the capability development is concerned. So we have come a long way from where we started, and what I would try and do is to take this entire journey of the Indian defense ecosystem in a form of a story, and so I will weave it as to where we were, where we are, and then crystal gaze and see where we are likely to go. So let me start by where we were. And let's start from the fact that when we were under the British rule, we had just about 12 to 13 ordnance factories, very rudimentary ordnance factories, which used to be producing some arms and some ammunition. And that's about all as far as the defense ecosystem in the country was concerned. And when the Britishers left us, for good about 8-10 years, nothing changed. The designs were all from outside. There was no indigenous design capability. There was nothing happening as far as the defense manufacturing is concerned. And in 1956 came as a watershed year, because that year the revised industry policy resolution came up, wherein the defense manufacturing was reserved for public sector. Now this at that point in time was a big decision, and I think that decision was taken at that point in time possibly a correct decision. So in 1958, we had DRDO, which was established with just 10 modest laboratories. And this largely public or government-driven system started to grow. And it grew to an extent that we had 41 ordnance factories now converted into 7 DPSUs. We have 16 DPSUs, and we have 52 laboratories of the DRDO. And this is largely a public kind of a setup, a government-driven setup as far as the defense ecosystem in this country is concerned. And apart from a few brilliance, some sparks of brilliance from the DRDO in terms of missile development, in terms of some other platforms, we found that this ecosystem performed suboptimally. And that's the reason the dependence of India in terms of its defense requirements on all foreign countries, and the imports remained, the primary source of our defense needs. And in that, even today, when we are looking at this stage of Atmanirbharta, it is also to note with a pinch of salt that we are still the largest importer of arms. With 11% of the global imports, actually, India has the share, followed by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, China, and Australia. So even now, with so much of defense ecosystem growing, and this is also by the fact that in the last 5 years, our imports have reduced by almost 20% vis-a-vis the previous 5 years, and yet we are the largest importer of arms. So in liberalization of Indian economy happened in 1991, where a lot of sectors came up where you started having FDIs and a lot of foreign investment happened. But one sector where there was very little foreign investment, primarily because of the fact that it was largely public sector driven, was defense. So we started with 26% FDI, then we went to 49% FDI, then we went to 74% FDI, all through the direct route, and even 100% FDI in case technology was coming up under the government route. Nothing much changed. Neither the technologies came, nor we could get the kind of funds that we were looking at through the foreign investors. Opening of the defense sector in India, truly speaking, happened only 10 to 12 years back. In fact, 2011-12 was the time when we first started talking about let's put more private sector into defense manufacturing. And the real change actually happened in 2016 when the category Buy Indian, indigenously designed, developed and manufactured, Buy Indian IDDM as a category came up. And if you look at the last 10 years, the defense procurement categorization turned on its head, where the Buy Global used to be the preferred category of procurement, and Buy Global today is the least preferred category as far as the procurement is concerned. And today Buy Indian IDDM, that is Indian Design, Developed and Manufactured, is the most preferred category when we are categorizing our procurements. So what happened thereafter is, as the private sector started getting a little bit of a glimpse as to more number of contracts are going to come to us, some changes happened, and I want to show you what happened. If you look at from 2018-19 to 2023-24, and I just want to tell you that blue color is trade, red is foreign, and light green is the DPSUs and the public sectors which are there. So you will find that, and these are the number of contracts and the percentages. So you see how the foreign contracts have completely dried. So there is no maroon anywhere in the last 2-3 years. So there are no foreign contracts. Our contracts to trade are also increasing. As you can see, in the last 2 years, the blue is increasing. So this is what is happening, and this is happening primarily because of the shift of mind that has happened in the defense procurement as far as the Indian government is concerned. Also, let us see in terms of the booking of the budget So we had a budget of around 22,000 crores in the beginning of the year, which finally we had to surrender a little bit. But the initial idea was that 83% of our budget booking will happen with the domestic players, and there will be, because previous contracts were still there, foreign contracts, 16% will come as the payments towards the foreign contracts. But finally, what actually happened, we could not get some of the foreign contracts delivery in time. Also, we could not get some of the Indian deliveries in time. So finally, we had this which actually happened at the end of the year. We had 97% payments of our budget. That means almost 16,000 crores, which went to the domestic players, and only 3% went to the foreign players. So you can see that the spending also is now accordingly changing in favor of the domestic players rather than the foreign players. And out of this 16,769, which is the domestic players, if I take a public and the private share, you will find that 12,562 crores is the public share, that is the public sector. And the balance which you see in maroon and light maroon is the share of the private sector. In that private sector share also, if you look at, so it's supposedly 25% we should, as per the government stated policy, 25% of the domestic expenditure should go to the private sector. And so we are meeting that. But within that 25%, we were stated to have almost 375 crores for the startups. And we actually went much more ahead, and we actually had 864 crores which went to the startup. So you can see that what we are saying is translating into the actuals. It is not that the intent is not getting translated into action. The intent is getting translated into action on ground. In the year 2020, our Prime Minister gave 2 targets to the Indian industry. And first target was that by the year 2025, you will have 1,75,000 crores of annual defense turnover. That means your defense production turnover annually will be 1,75,000 crores. And he gave another target to the Indian defense industry that you will be exporting 35,000 crores worth of military hardware every year. So these are the 2 targets in 2020 to be achieved by 2025. And where are we? Let's just see that. 2022-23 end, we had 1,08,000 crores of defense production, and we had 16,000 crores of export. And last year we had 21,000 crores of export, and we had around 80,000 crores of defense production. So defense production is not going with the same speed, but the exports are going almost in the same speed. And irony of this entire situation is that while Indian government has played 75% of its orders to the public sector and only 25% to the private, the exports have been just the opposite. Out of the 21,000 crores exports, 75% share has gone from the private and only 25% has gone from public. And once this share of exports and indigenous production goes 50-50%, you will find that it will be an irreversible process, and it's already going into that direction, that we will have more contracts coming to the private players, or maybe equal number of contracts coming to the private players vis-a-vis the public sector. So this is just the journey of the defense exports, which I was trying to tell you. From 2016-17, we had just about 1,520 crores of export every year, which has reached to 21,000 crores. That is the export, Indian export, as far as the military hardware is concerned. And you can see that unless you produce for the world, it will not be cost effective for you to produce for the country. And I think that's a message that everyone has to take, that if you want to become a defense entrepreneur, you want to become a defense manufacturer, you have to start looking at making it for the world, and in the process give it to your own country as well. And I think that's the message, I think, which the private sector is increasingly getting, and that's the reason they have a lion's share as far as the exports is concerned. This is a snapshot of, I'll spend a minute on this slide, slightly busy, but I'll try and explain it. This is the snapshot of Indian Army's capability development as we see today. So now I'm coming to where we are. So I've just covered where we were, now coming to where we are. On the left top corner, we see 82,164 crore. This is our basket of the contracts already signed, and the delivery is yet to happen, which we call it committed liabilities. That means we've already placed orders. We have to receive the equipment worth 82,164 crores. There are total 406 schemes which are in post-contract management. That means the contract has been placed and we are now in the post-contract management stage. We have, if you come down from the same light green, the live acceptance of necessity, that means the live cases. We have 138 schemes which are in various stages of procurement, which are almost 2,81,888 crore. That means these will finally in 3 years, 2 years, whatever time, will actually result into contracts. So this is the contract, the opportunity which is there in front, which you can see that this is what the Indian armies will be signing in terms of contract. Let's look at what we did last year. So financial year 23-24, come to the middle column, top middle column. We contracted 21 schemes worth 13,000 crores. We issued 25 RFPs worth 51,000 crores. We obtained 35 A1s worth 78,000 crores. And in emergency procurement, which happened, which the chief also mentioned, the 4 tranches of the emergency procurement, 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the last tranche, that is the EP4, we signed total 73 contracts, out of which 57 were signed in the last financial year, with a total of 6,576 crores. This year, if you come to the last row, the last column and the bottom, the schemes which are planned by March 25, we are looking at 26,552 crores. That means we have 24 odd schemes which are planning to sign this year. In terms of the contracts concluded, in the year 23-24, that is the rightmost column, top pink color, contracts concluded. 71% of our contracts were concluded within the powers of the Vice Chief. That is the delegated powers, and 29% by value were signed by the ministry, which is actually just the opposite what it should have happened, because this year some of our schemes did not get signed from the ministry. But this is to note that the capacity of the contracts conclusion intrinsic to Indian Army without involving the ministry much is huge, that we could sign so many contracts in the last financial year. In the emergency procurement, a word, because why I'm trying to elaborate it is because this concerns the startups and the MSME, because we signed a lot of contracts with MSMEs and startups. So let's look at the emergency procurement tranche 1 to 3, wherein we bought 51% of our stores from Indian vendors and 49% from foreign vendors. That means because it was allowed to buy the equipment also from foreign in the first 3 tranches, that is EP1 to EP3. So out of this, we signed total 68 schemes worth 6,600 crores. This was the total that we could achieve, out of which 51% came from Indian vendors. Out of this 51%, you can see the distribution on to the right. The DPSUs had 26% share, the private industry had 55% share, which is less the MSMEs and startups, and the MSME and startups had 19% share. So you can see that out of the almost 3,000 plus 3,300 odd crores, which is 50% of what we signed, this is the distribution. So you can see the pie which is there for the industry, and you can see the pie which has gone to the MSMEs and startups. And the capabilities that we could get is in the domains as shown on to the left. That is the drones and anti-drone systems, 11 schemes, new generation munitions, 9 schemes, surveillance and sighting schemes, 9, infantry weapons, 9, communication, 13, and the like. So these are the capabilities that we developed, through EP1 to 3. And a change happened in EP4 because no foreign contracts were allowed. So EP4 was completely indigenous contracts. In these complete 10,960 crores which we signed for 73 schemes, the distribution you can see is rising as far as MSME startups is concerned. And it is rising as far as the private industry is concerned. So this is a clear indication of the shift which is happening in terms of our procurement when we are looking at Indian Army. And again, the capabilities which we could address was surveillance counter drone. If I can put it a very, very safe figure, we had around 45 plus schemes so far which we have signed as far as counter drone and drone systems. Almost more than 1,000 crores. That means we've already bought more than 1,000 crore plus drones in almost 38 to 40 schemes. And we are going to buy more as the time goes ahead. Some of the systems which happened based on the demonstration, which is no cost, no commitment demonstrations linked procurement cases, you can see some of them which resulted into procurement. Not all NCNC demonstrations result into procurement. In fact, this is a crib that we keep showing you no cost, no commitment demos, and not many of them convert into procurement because of the processes involved. But there is this thing which I want to show you, that out of the 24 schemes and the product products worth 3,300 crores came because or came through NCNC demos. So please continue with your NCNC demos. One fine day, what you are demonstrating will possibly find its way to a contract. Our chief also spoke about it, and we had this lecture from Mr. Vaishnav, which was completely talking about innovation. So as you know that as regards innovation is concerned, our Army Design Bureau is working on it. We have a compendium of problem definition statement, which are generally the problems which the field formations feel in terms of capability, some minor capability or some major capability, whatever voids they have. They give it in the form of a problem definition statement. So we issued 110 problem definition statements, or 91 of them being in the operational domain and balance in the training and administration. We received 394 responses from the industry for these 110 problem statements. That means more than one response on each of these. And the categories, it could be either upgradation of the existing system, the problems, or it could be indigenization of critical components, or it could be induction of new technologies. So you find that these problem definition statements, some of them mentioned here, are those niche technologies which was the mention was made in the morning session number of times. So we are giving these problem statements to these innovators, through the IDEX challenge or through a open challenge, or coming through the scheme called Aditi, or it's IDEX or IDEX Prime or IDEX for Fauji. All this is the innovation ecosystem which the Indian Army is constantly working to promote, so that more and more innovative solutions are included as part of our capability. Last slide of mine, I just want to do a little bit of crystal gazing. I only say that for the private sector, the opportunity is there, writing is there on the wall. Whether you are a main vendor, or you are a tier 1 or a tier 2 supplier, irrespective whether you are only supplying components or you're supplying systems, there is a huge opportunity. Defense capability budget, this is not only Indian Army, this is Army, Navy and Air Force put together. In 2022, we had 1.35 lakh crores, and if we go up at 10% annual rise, we should be reaching 2.2 lakh crores per annum. That is going to be the size per year. And if we can say Indian Army alone, in next 8 to 10 years, we are looking somewhere in the region of 7 to 8 lakh crores worth of equipment, which is likely to come up as far as Indian Army alone is concerned. Order book, existing orders plus next 5 years, again 10 lakh crores. This is again for the entire defense forces, not only for the Army, but for the Army, Navy and Air Force. Defense exports, as you've seen that the targets which was set by the Prime Minister of 35,000 will possibly reach that, and then reach even larger, almost 1 lakh crore kind of a thing, because I am certain that this is only going to rise, and going to rise very, very quickly, because our systems which we have made have been cost effective, and they have been used, but they are possibly now going to be used by all third world as also some of the advanced countries. Defense manufacturing, this year it has taken a little bit of a beating. Otherwise, last year it was 1,08,000 crores, as I told you. This year it has been just about 78,000 crores, maybe because of this disruption of the supply chain, because of the ongoing wars. So this also is likely to go to almost 3 lakh crores, the defense manufacturing, by the year 2027. And R&D by the private sector, whether it is in the form of Make 1 or Make 2, or it is IDEX, or it is all these instruments which the government has created with regard to innovation, or with regard to design and development, or R&D by the private sector, are only going to rise. We possibly right now have schemes like Dr. Chintan was referring to, the only scheme 25 crores, which is the Aditi scheme, which gives you innovator a 25 crore straight away to innovate. And I think this 25 crores is one part, but you look at Make 1, where you have 250 crores for you to actually develop something. But all this minor ecosystem development is one part. I think what we need to do at this point in time, which is most important, is to put the academic establishments and the research establishments into a thread wherein high-cost technologies are developed. Our problems are not the low-cost technologies, and low-cost technologies are easily buyable, which the chief was also referring to, that what the other countries will give you those technologies which they have already exhausted, or which are very cheap technologies. But the niche technologies, the technologies where you have to put your sweat and blood for many, many years, will not come easy. No country in the world, no private sector in the world has come up in 10 years. And I don't see that we will do wonders in 10 years. But we have done well so far. If we have to go ahead, the academic establishment, the research establishments, the private sector, the public sector, all will have to start working towards development of niche technologies. And that niche technologies, right, Mr. Chintan said, may not be incremental. It may be quantum, which means quantum, not the quantum technology, but quantum in the sense that rather than incrementally trying to develop something, you develop something which others have not thought of. That means you be innovative to develop those niche technologies which give you the same kind of end effect, but they are not the technologies which the others have already developed, and you are two technology cycles behind. These are those technologies which the advanced countries will start thereafter coming a technology cycle behind you. So should we have incremental approach or should we have a quantum approach? With the talent that we have in this country, it is possible for us to look at both the incremental approach for certain things where we are doing the catching up, as also certain quantum approach where we will be the leaders in the technologies that we are developing. I'll stop here. We have a very, very esteemed panel here, and we'll start with the with our first panelist, who's Mr. Godi, who's Mahesh Godi. He is the founder of Godi India Limited. And so can we have a slide, please? Yeah. This is a very, very innovative company. I mean, I just read about them because since I was supposed to be moderating this session. Good about Godi is firstly the first company which has got a lithium-ion manufacturing facility in the country, and that too on a giga scale or something. And they're also working on sodium-ion kind of thing. And there's most importantly, that most impressive that they're working is the superconductors. And I think that's going to be a game changer. They are working on superconductors, supercapacitors, which supercapacitors are going to give you in the EVs sector, and also going to be giving us in the non-conventional energy sources. Wherever the battery related storages are concerned, they'll make it, I think, more efficient, high energy density, and those kind of claims which are there. And so we will hear more from him as to what these supercapacitors are and how they're going to change, and the batteries will become maybe a thing of the past, and supercapacitors will possibly take charge, which have 10 lakh cycles of charging and recharging vis-a-vis some 2,500 of the normal batteries. So let's listen to him and welcome him. I welcome you for your address. So, whichever way.
A very good morning to everyone, and also first of all I want to thank everyone who invited us. A brief, for every country, three things are really important as security. One is food security, energy security, and strategic security. In terms of food, we are very fortunate as a country. We don't have any problems with the food, but in the energy space, we are all still importing fossil fuels. And coming to the strategic sector, we as a country always a neutral and friendly nation to anything whatever happening in the world. So that's also my story, and I was working in US for past 20 years. I came back to my own country, Bharat, and I want to be here to do something big in terms of the energy sector. So coming to the company, what we are doing as a company is we are working on very advanced lithium-ion cells and sodium-ion cells. Probably everybody in this room having a battery that's carrying in your pocket or in your bags, right? It's so important that this technology is also used in every part of defense sector like land, air, and water. So we as a country, we as a company, as developing indigenous technologies with our own patents involved in that. And also we have several PhDs working on the finest of technologies and groundbreaking technologies, and we have a lot of patents in that as well. And we have a very seasoned people in our company, and Dr. Hari is from Indian Institute of Science, and Dr. Angli Choi, PhD from Cambridge University, a British Korean. And we have very seasonal team people working on every layer of the lithium and sodium ion cells, came from the different parts of the world. So we are a very international company, and our teams are not just from India. I made a reverse brain drain coming back to India, and the finest of academic and industrial background we have. And also look at these opportunities what we have as not only India but all the other countries is the battery, right? Either you see any kind of stationary or power devices or that manipulating in the land, air and water, everything required battery, right? So we as a company working on different kinds of technologies that go into the different products of the defense sector. So especially in the area of LFP, where you have more energy density, and in case of nickel based chemistries, especially you have more power density, you have more power that coming. You're also working on the especially the lithium sulfur batteries, so that give more power burst application for you. At the same time, our ambition is to set up the first ever defense gigafactory for this one, which I have discussed with a lot of people in the ministry, and also this one. This is the finest of first ever is going to happen in India, a defense related gigafactory for many applications that can go into the land, air and water. And we have different roadmap. At the same time, the other important technology is coming is the sodium-ion batteries, because sodium is abundantly available in India or any part of the world. So sodium can operate in any kind of temperatures in minus 40 to 100 degrees centigrade. So in this case, we are only the company in India working on at the materials level. We have our own cathodes, anodes, electrolytes, which in-house developed with our own patents. So there is we are not only focusing about the current, in the midterm and long-term opportunities that go into different applications. So see, especially defense required a tailor-made, because these are operating in different temperatures, different vibrations, and also the very, very important thing is we are putting an asset at risk if something is happening. In that case, we need to make a very tailor-made battery specific to the application, because one product won't suit for everybody. In that case, we developed our own materials in-house to withstand different kinds of operating temperatures, different kind of vibrations, different kinds of usage and everything. So if you go to the opportunities what we have is that everything is in-house. We are not getting technology from any other country. That's a one big thing, because that can happen only with the in-house resources. We have 25 PhDs working very focusedly on this technology. At the same time, the cost is really important, right? If you manufacture any product without compromising the quality, we need to reduce the cost, and it should be eco-friendly as well. Because one way we are telling we are doing some lot of good for the environment, but the other way, with the wars and other things happening, it's the reverse way is happening, and we are contaminating our lands, water and air with so many things are happening. We as a company doing a lot of eco-friendly manufacturing process, and also we developed our own formation protocols, because when you charge and discharge the battery, these protocols should be work in very efficient way, which we are doing in-house. And also electrolytes, right? So the fundamental thing in the lithium ion cell is electrolyte. If you expose the electrolyte in the air, it start burning, right? So we developed our own in-house electrolytes that can go all the way to the minus 40 to the 65 degrees centigrade. So that helps your asset, especially the armed force who are using these assets, is highly protected, and also highly environmental friendly and everything. These are all patents which we have in different areas of the cells that go. So these are own patents, and we have. And also coming to our batteries, where it will go. If you see tanker application, we have very limited space, one person going to the tanker. In the tanker at the front there will be a diesel generator, the other side they have lead acid batteries, right? When the tanker is ideal, it should run without vibration. In that way we are developing. We also visited a tankers in Hyderabad. So we are tailor making a batteries that will operate very quietly when the system is in ideal. At the same time, it's going to run its auxiliaries without having any kind of power issues. And also military communication. The communication is very, very, very important for any of our soldier who is on ground, air and water. These communication device don't have any voice. It is communicated through a battery. So just imagine how robust this battery should be developed. And we are already supplying to one of the largest defense company in India for this portable devices, a lot of our batteries. And also the missiles. See, I'll talk about supercapacitor. I'll go a little bit about the supercapacitor here. Uh, when you launch any missile, it should go in a milli or microsecond that fast. It requires that kind of burst power. To require that burst power, we developed our in-house supercapacitors that can charge and discharge in milliseconds, and the shelf life is 20 years. So you are not going to change your batteries in every 2 years. It's going to be there whenever you want to use it. And also good thing is it's made with the plant-based carbon, which is abundantly available in India. So supply chain wise, the material wise, is no need to look at other countries, especially you can do it in India. And we can also export to our other countries as well for this application. And also our armed forces are stationed in different terrains, right? They need required power. They need continuous power. But unfortunately, the power can't go these particular locations. And these locations are very different temperatures. So we developed our own electrolytes that can charge during the daytime and store the energy in the small portable battery, and they can carry as a backpack anywhere they can go. And also especially we use a lot of tents. Can we make these tents into solar tents so that we can charge and have this one? And also the power of soldier with AI, and also especially coming with VR and AR coming embedded with them, that also required a battery. You just imagine he's wearing a battery on his head. The battery is generating a lot of heat. It will affect his own brain. Forgot about how AI is AI, but he needs his own brain to work all these things. So we are making a battery that is very safe, highly compatible for any kind of applications. Drones, right? Also the submarines and everything. When a submarine go to the bed, it is ideal, so that nobody can get any kind of information from that, so that it's sitting ideal. And when it go up, it vibrate like crazy. We went and visited a submarine in Mumbai, and currently they're using lead acid batteries. And these lead acid batteries are not good for them to operate in this kind of vibration. And also lead acid batteries want to change very frequently. Now we are working with advanced lithium-ion batteries, so that it has better shelf life, and it can safeguard our assets of these submarines, and also it can have very burst power when it want to move up and down, and also don't have any kind of vibration. If there is a lot of vibration happening, these batteries will shake and leak, and it will give a lot of catastrophic issues in terms of that one. And also the fighter jets. The fighter jets maneuver very fast, so it needs a very thrust power and burst power. So the further supercapacitors is a very good product you can use. And also coming to our cathodes and aqueous based, this is our technology and everything, which I don't want to go much. And these are patents. And also we also doing a lot of innovation in the manufacturing. See, currently the lot of companies across the world are using very toxic chemicals in the manufacturing. In that we are eliminating completely with dry based manufacturing, so that we are not using any water. It can reduce the capex and operation expenses, so that it is a 3-step process instead of the 5-step process we have. And also it has huge savings, right? So we can reduce the cost of the battery to 12%, so that we can give you a better battery without having more cost to it. And also these are our patents, and these are Falcon series NMC based lithium-ion batteries, and these are different data information. These are certifications, and also the supercapacitors. Let me take half a minute on this one. What is supercapacitor? It's called EDLC supercapacitor. It can charge and discharge in millisecond. Just imagine any of your product need this kind of burst power. The supercapacitor is the only the product. And also it is very lightweight. It's just a carbon inside. It's a plant based, right? So it's a very lightweight. Whatever asset you're having currently, it can go inside with a very lightweight, and it can use that kind of throttle and burst power, right? And also it will help. It has a shelf life more than 20 years, and having 2000 cycles. Okay, you can charge and discharge like for 20 years. Nothing going to happen to that. And this is one thing which we want to do a pilot immediately, and also with several other applications as well. This is supercapacitor. It looks like this, and it can use in the other applications as well. And also, this is the data which we have. By the way, it's made with the bio-derived waste, so which is abundantly available. And the applications for the supercapacitors are many. Belongs to the different kinds of applications we can use, and this is the one of the application we showed it out to you. And also I'm talking about electrolytes, right? We use electrolytes which is made in-house. So you see the data here is going all the way to the minus degrees, minus 23 degrees, and also going to the different temperatures here. So this is tailor-made for us in India for different applications, so that you can operate your assets in different terrains and different low temperature applications as well. Yeah, and also we have a suite of products. Either it is cylindrical cells, prismatic cells, or in the pouch cells. We have different cells here that can go into different products here. And we have our booth at the downstairs, and please visit and spend some time with us so that you can understand more details. And also we are located in Hyderabad, central part of India, close to the Centre airport. If you guys want to spend some time with us, please do come and spend some time so that you can understand what we are doing in Hyderabad. And also we also in the business of exporting the cells to the other countries as well. So in that regards, we are open to work in a joint collaborations and everything as well. And thank you everybody for giving this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mahesh. Very, very encouraging, very, very exciting. The kind of systems that you think your products can be using is very exciting, and you have taken right from tanks, which actually in our northern borders is a problem in terms of starting because of the batteries not performing, and it'll be good to check whether what you claim can do well as far as our tanks in the northern borders are concerned. And other than that, also the problem of battery is a perennial problem in any army actually. So if you can find solutions which are more robust, I think it is going to help us. And this supercapacitor, again, if we have a use case in any of the military systems, which thereafter becomes sort of a lead for us to try on, and then we can possibly look at this in terms of trying in some of our systems. You talked about some laser related systems, and we are now looking at high power laser, and high power microwave and those kind of things. And we are looking at those kind of, so maybe where you're looking at a burst power to come up, maybe we can utilize them in those kind of systems. Thank you very much. Next, we have Mr. Rajiv Mehrotra, who's the chairman of the Shyam Group of Industries. He's a veteran in telecom industry and is chairman of Shyam Group, as I told. He's launched Shyam VNL in 2023 and primarily focused on developing mobile and RF cyber intelligence, which you could see in that he says that I'll be able to map all the mobile phones in a particular area. Which for the purpose of military application. So near border areas, you can possibly know that if this particular mobile belongs to a particular anti-national element, you can possibly trace it. So very, very, very intelligent utilization which is possible. And they also working on border and perimeter intrusion detection systems, disaster management system, secure mobile broadband solution, which was again I think displayed. Many other companies, we just launched Shyam Telecom, Shyam Telelink, SL Shyam and Vihan Networks. So he'll be speaking to us on visualizing the net-centric warfare, integrating cutting-edge communication and intelligent technologies to empower soldier and increase combat effectiveness. Very interesting. Let's listen to you. My request is to stick to the time so that we can wrap it up at the right time. So my request is please follow the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, General sir. I will be quick and to the point. Not moving. Okay, so this is just showing what happened during last 6-7 months. Basically, Chirag Tale Andhera, and that's what really happened over there. this is what happened on 7th October. All the systems which were.
So for area weapons, you have some issues, where you want to see how your target has hit, you want to remove the guesswork and be very clear about your shot. So we've designed a multi-sensor system, which includes a ballistic computer, a thermal sight, as well as a laser range finder, all coming together. Your area weapon becomes more smarter and intelligent to operate, and you have more accurate fire. So this system can be used on any kind of area weapons like grenade launchers, rocket launchers, or heavy machine guns. Then we are also doing image intensification weapon sights, though we've seen that a lot of the forces prefer thermal weapon sights, but we believe that both the technologies have their own advantages. And this is a image intensification weapon sight which we are doing with generation 3 technology. We are offering 1800 plus figure of merit, and it can go beyond 2000 as well. And it's a very good product for observation and surveillance, and also taking the enemy, and you're able to see the real photo of the enemy while you're taking them on with using this sight. This is a new product which we have developed for our drivers and special forces. So when you have to drive your vehicles with completely black out, without the lights. So how do you see outside the vehicle? And the thermal will not let you see because you have a windshield in front of you. So the driver, he can wear these goggles, and these are again based on image intensification technology, and it has a dual tube system, so it gives you a depth perception with stereoscopic vision and helps you to drive or maneuver the vehicle in complete darkness with ease. And yesterday we had the vice chief also visit us at our premises, and he was quite interested in this product because he feels that the forces, when they are driving in night, sometimes they may need to use this technology. So we'll be offering this to the Indian Army as well as the CAPF to have a look. This is another good development from our company. These image intensification monoculars earlier used to just operate on one channel. We've now introduced the thermal mode as well. So it has a add-on thermal gadget, and what it does is, as you can see on the right hand side, the enemy is visible very clearly using the thermal as well as the image intensification channel. So it will highlight the silhouette of the target and help you in detection very fast. This product, MK is very proud to introduce the aviation night vision goggle. Earlier, India had been importing these goggles. Last year, Air Force placed the contract for 200 of those with MKU. And we also have a design and development with HAL. And this product can be used on any kind of helicopters. The pilots can, use this, and we can also customize as per the need, because all the IPR and the design belongs to MKU. So we are willing to offer these to our Army Aviation Department, and they can also have a look at this. Then today it was very good to meet one of the officers from the mechanized infantry, and they have also released the RFI regarding the driver night sights. So we are building these in India along with partnership from DRDO. This technology we had received for tanks, but it can be fitted for the BMPs by changing the form fit and factor. And the beauty of the technology is it was designed by DRDO. It has low light sensor as well as a thermal sensor, and both are working in tandem and offering you fusion capability. So that is about MKU and our solutions for the real world problems today. And as we say, Sashakt Sainik Saksham Bharat. So we look forward to engaging with the Indian Armed Forces and the CAPS present here. Please do visit us, see our products, ask us challenging questions. We'll be very happy to address. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Vaibhav. Next, we have Mr. Nishant Khatri, who is the manager MOD sales in FC Tech Energy. So we heard the battery from the Godi, and now we're going to hear the fuel cells. And FC Tech Energy is a 2016 founded startup venture, which is a fuel cell company, which is a range of fuel cell based solutions such as man-portable battery chargers, fuel cell based generators, microgrids, and hybrid power solutions. So welcome, Nishant ji, and let's listen to you.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant General Shankar, for introducing me to the audience. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nishant Khatri, and as Sir has already introduced me, so I'll basically talk about the end problem that the end user faces and how we are addressing to all those problem statement. So today's soldier is burdened with so much of electrical and electronical components, equipments and subcomponents. So they are relying on the batteries too much. So the traditional power sources, as of now, what the Army or the Air Force or the Navy, they have, they pose certain limitations when we talk about when the armed forces are being deployed. So certainly they are posing various limitations. These traditional power sources are posing limitations in this, especially the remote and the hostile environment where the army is working. Now talking, let's say, on the perspective of a soldier, now we are seeing there are a lot of equipment that a soldier needs to carry when he is out on his mission. So a lot of surveillance equipments, communication equipments, a lot of gadgets, GPS, night vision devices, optical sights, weapon mounted sights. Now all these requires power. Now once he is at his at the field locations behind the enemy territories, like how he can sustain and sustain the mission endurance, because he is totally relying on his the battery endurance. Now for this he carries a lot of spare batteries for the mission sustenance, a lot of spare battery that it carries. So that gives him weight penalty. So there are a lot of other things, other essential equipments and the items for his mission operation that he needs to carry. The first thing is his ammo, then the body armor, then the food, then of course the batteries of the electrical and electronic equipments that he is carrying. So this is one of the problem statement of Indian Army, that during field condition, the forces, they don't have any provision to charge the batteries of this equipment, of the handheld surveillance communication equipments at the field condition. So we'll be talking about that. So let me a little bit brief about, a short brief about FC Tech Energy. So FC Tech Energy is a fuel cell and sustainable tech enterprise. So our domain expertise lies in fuel cell technology, working in alternate fuel and green fuel, and that slowly we can minimize the diesel dependency of the armed forces. So as you can see, is we have already executed 50 plus contracts with the armed forces under the heads of capital procurement, ACSFP and OpWorks. So we have one of the largest fuel cell footprint company in the India, with an experience of already deploying more than 2200 plus fuel cells of different ranges, meeting the specific requirement of the different regiments and the core of the Indian Army, the Air Force and the Navy, of course. So basically we have a site location in Gurgaon where our headquarters is located. Then we have our site offices across all the border areas of India, Arunachal area, the eastern sector, the Leh and Ladakh, J&K. So till now we have the capacity of already generating 2.1 gigawatt of clean energy produced, so thereby reducing the carbon emission as well. So as I've already said earlier, FCT, a sustainable energy tech enterprise. So fuel cell is a key growth driver for us. So we develop all the solutions based around fuel cells, also hybridizing the solution with existing the power source that the Indian armed forces are having. So our primary focus is on mission critical energy solution provider for defense, homeland security, railways, oil and gas, smart city and data centers. If we talk about our facilities, we have an in-house production, an R&D lab, and a repair facility. So there are various indigenous products that we have already filed patent for, that we have specially designed for our armed forces, knowing their problem statements. We were founded in 2016, recognized as a startup, and now we registered with various defense PSUs and the armed forces. So we are producing the fuel cells based on methanol. We call it a direct methanol fuel cell. Then again, we have fuel cells based on hydrogen gas as well. And also designing the power electronics products that we have commenced recently with our German strategic partner from Germany, SFC Energy AG. So talking about the future soldier requirement of power. So as I've already discussed earlier, there are a lot of equipments that the soldier needs to carry when he is on the fields doing his task, right? Now all this depends directly. The mission endurance is directly proportional to the the battery endurance. Whether if his communication breaks, he has to abort the mission. So it's very essential to to maintain the endurance of the battery. And of course, battery poses limitations because they wear out and they are consumed during the process. And of course, carrying spare batteries causes additional burden to the soldier. In fact, bringing it back also, the weight remains the same. So it heavily penalizes the soldier, talking from the perspective of the weight. So a lot of computing device, communication system, optical day sights, passive night vision device, head, helmet, hand mounted, and various spare batteries of communication and spare surveillance equipment that he carries. Now the power related challenge for this is, for the soldier, is power availability is limited to batteries only. Now, as of now, they don't have any weather independent portable a power generator that he can carry on fields to charge the equipment of the battery, so that he can carry less batteries and carry more of ammo and food and other mission critical importance equipments. Now extended missions require reliable and continuous power. Power is very important. So for sustained missions, continuous power for all electronic equipment and subsystems is very crucial, resulting in need to carry multiple spare batteries. Now all this reduces the soldier's mobility and limits his mission endurance as well, because he is dependent on the battery and there is nothing to to replenish all those batteries. Now there is a lack. Now he cannot depend on weather dependable sources like solar. If there is a cloud cover, now soldier cannot rely on the just the solar power to charge the batteries, though it is one of the methods that the army is already following. Now, but there is an immediate requirement of a weather independent 24/7 all terrain and all weather man wearable portable battery charger. So understanding this problem statement, we have already supplied and proposed this solution to the armed forces. We call it a man portable fuel cell based battery charger. Now this has been designed around knowing the operational requirement of the different users. So depending on the portfolio of the batteries that you carry during these requirements, we have designed the solution around that. Now the key components of this solution is of course a fuel cell based generator which works on the principle of DMFC, direct methanol based fuel cell. So basically fuel cell is an electrochemical device that converts chemical energy directly into electrical energy. Now this device is now we have designed a solution which is we can charge different portfolios of the batteries that the the armed forces and the special forces that they carry. Now it may vary from from regiment to regiment. The application may vary, but we can tailor-made custom design the cables to meet the the requirements of the different regiments of the army. So when I talk about the components of the system, so we have a man-portable fuel cell-based battery charger, an intelligent power manager, which is basically a universal power harvesting and distribution device. Of course, it runs on methanol, so we have a methanol cartridge which is 350 ml. The troops, they only need to carry a one fuel cell generator and a minimum amount of cartridge. Let's say per person can carry few cartridges along with him. And this 350 ml cartridge gives him a power output of 350 watt hour that can sustain for up to 14 hours of continuous charging. Now these fuel cartridges are hot swappable, so you can swap these cartridges while the system is already running. Now we have tailor-made custom designed cables for all the in-service equipments, radio sets, surveillance, communication devices. In fact, he can also charge his mobile phones, his tough notebooks, GPS, and even the batteries that are being housed in the night vision devices and the thermal devices, whether weapon mounted or head or helmet mounted. So the one you see on the screen is the small energy network that we have made, understanding the requirement of the armed forces. Now this is tailor-made depending of if they are planning to get any new equipment is being inducted. So we can this system is integratable to that equipment as well. Now if I talk, this is a picture of where the army is utilizing our fuel cell based battery charging and charging the batteries of their Stars V radio sets, LUP Tardirans, and various other AA, AAA batteries. Now, why fuel cell based battery charger? Why we are relying on fuel cell? Now, I'll quote certain advantages with this technology is, now fuel cell is a weather dependent power generator. So whether you are at, since Indian Army and the armed forces, they are operating at varied terrains. You see a lot of vagaries around these terrains, and one of the harshest terrains, that is the difference where our Indian Army is deployed, and our foreign counterparts they are playing the role. But here in India you get all the geographical conditions, all the terrains, so that is most challenging. The operators, they are operating at an altitude of 20,000 feet, minus 40 degrees centigrade, where the traditional power generation system doesn't perform at all. The fuel freezes. Now when we talk about the fuel cell technology, now the key advantages I'll specifically quote from the perspective of military applications. It houses a methanol cartridge. Methanol is a liquid fuel which is easy to store and transport, plus the fuel consumption is very low. Now the methanol freezing temperature itself is minus 90 degrees centigrade, so there is no problem with fuel freezing. Now if I talk about the efficiency of a fuel cell generator, it can work 24/7, 365 days as long as we are supplying methanol to it. It is a weather independent device. The man portable fuel cell battery charger that I was discussing here, it's the only mill grade fuel cell available across the world, and the most miniature form of fuel cell, which qualifies mill standard 8110G, can sustain up till minus 40 degrees centigrade.
Nishant, please try and wrap up.
Sure, sir. So these are the certain key advantages of the solution if we talk about the fuel cell technology. Now this is just one part of the solution. So we have already conducted more than 60 plus NCNC trials in the last 6 years with Indian Army, Air Force and the CAPFs. Now solution has already been inducted by the Army and the CAPFs, and various trials are ongoing with certain other, with the Air Force and the Navy as well for the said product. Now other solutions portfolio, since power is required everywhere, so it's just one of the solutions that we have already tailor made for the armed forces. Yes, again, we are replacing the minimizing the diesel dependency by replacing the DG sets by having fuel cell based generator, which can be hybridized by adding a solar into it. Now these systems are all being tailor made. Then we can establish microgrids based on hydrogen fuel cell as well as methanol fuel cell. So particularly when we talk about the field location, liquid methanol is easy to handle, store and transport. So that is why hydrogen is not recommended for field formations. Now especially for remote and far-flung areas where there is no grid and the traditional sources of energy do not perform, fuel cell is the only solution, and we have already installed fuel cells powering the radar system and the surveillance system, where they are powering up the PTZ cameras already at an altitude of 20,000 feet successfully. And of course then we have the man portable fuel cell based battery charger. So we are already have our booth downstairs for more info regarding our products and solution, because for each and every regiment and the corps we already have some tailor-made solutions understanding their problem statement. So that's all. Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure having you all as an audience, and it was a privilege speaking for all of you. Thank you so much.